This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Here we go. Your dial is set correctly to USAPrepares.com. And we broadcast 2 hours from high atop the mountains right here in Missouri. We're delighted you're here. Nathan is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota at GCN. I'm Vincent Finelli. And if you'd like to call us today, we'll pay for the call. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. And if you'd like to listen to us as you travel or at home, we have a fabulous listen line. It really works well. 605-477-3249. 605-477-3249. Captain John Regan is with us, U.S. Air Force Reserves retired. Welcome, Captain John Regan.
Good morning, Vincent.
So no longer are you broadcasting from the Dallas Mobile Studios.
It feels strange having a full-size desktop and using a full-size keyboard, having a place for the mouse. It's great.
Now, you can broadcast with one mouse? Really? Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got 3 mice here, 3 keyboards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens, and I can hardly. There's no room. There's no room on the. I have a very large desk, and with all the equipment here, there's hardly any room. But I need 3 mice. I can't figure out how to do it without. Well, I could use a KVM, right? Switch between keyboards and mice and so forth. But I think I'd rather just have the keyboards, and I can just reach over and they're connected and ready to go without switching. So, are there any other alternatives? Are there mice that can connect to multiple computers simultaneously? Because I don't know of one.
I can't imagine how you would do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I remember when IBM came out with the PC Junior, back around, let's see, that'd be in the 80s. And they had these wireless keyboards, and they thought that was the neatest thing. So you could have a wireless keyboard, and you could just have it on your desk and aim your keyboard right at the PC desktop computer, and it would work. And so they sold them to schools. And the schools would have, maybe 25, 30 of these IBM PC Juniors in a classroom, and the keyboards were transmitting to other computers, and it got so confusing they couldn't get the keyboard to transmit to the computer they wanted, just that one computer. So they had to put cords on the keyboard. So they upgraded the wireless keyboard with a cord. So we have cords here. We're doing it the old-fashioned way, and it works fine. So, Captain John Regan, I'm at the Financial State of the Union.com. I'm at the News tab, and you've got a fabulous lesson plan for us today.
Yes, I actually don't know a whole lot about what happened last week. Most of what I've got posted for today is the stuff I talked about last time that I didn't get a chance to even put on the post. And I wish I could have gotten to that before the convention, because you would have been able to understand some of the lies a lot better, especially on the condition of our economy. And, all I can say is fasten your seatbelt. We've got about 50 items here, so I've got to go about 10 speed just to get through it all. And I want to pick up from last week. There were some of the preparedness items we didn't get to that I just want to touch on. One is, how many canning jars do you need? And I knew you needed a fair amount, but I never sat down and did the calculation. And this article talks about how for 2 cups of veggies a day for 4 people, it would take somewhere between 800 and 1,200 jars.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of let that sink in, So for a family of 4, 1,000 jars. And that's kind of like a minimum. And then you have to have a place to store that. And you probably don't just want open shelves, even where you are, where when the new Madrid goes off, you shouldn't suffer severe damage, but there's still going to be, some earthquake effect there, and you don't want those things flying off the shelves. You don't want them clinging together and breaking. So there's a little bit of preparation with that. And if you've got, just 20 people around the area, that means between all of you, you're going to need at least 5,000 jars. And that's a lot of jars.
Well, Walmart doesn't have that many jars, and our son was passing through from where he lives to our farm, and I asked him if he could stop at the Chinese factory outlet, and they had cases of jars, 12 in a case, lids, rings, and jars, all bundled together for $12, so $1 per jar complete. They only had 3 cases. That's all that Walmart had.
Yeah,
so we thought we'd top off. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lids are the other side of the equation. You need to make sure you have enough because once the supply chain goes down, what you have on hand is all you're going to have. Right.
And by the way, we experimented with the used spaghetti sauce jars, the kind that you get for spaghetti sauce for, I think they're about 22 to 24 ounce jars, 99 cents to, $1.49 maybe at most supermarkets. And if you wash them out, we thought, I'll bet you we could reuse these. And the answer is we were able to. We were able to wash them out, sterilize them, and reuse them. So you might get one other use out of a spaghetti sauce jar. Just one thought. We don't throw anything away. Literally, we don't throw anything away. Used jars, cans. We keep the cans for using in the shop. We're an automotive shop where we fix our tractors and equipment. And we always need cans for all kinds of things. But the ones that don't have those ring peel-off lids, the ones that you open with a can opener, we try to save all of them. But we do throw out the aluminum. If we have any aluminum cans with the pop tops, if they show up here at the farm, we throw them out because we don't want to contribute to the spraying overhead of chemtrails. We just, it bothers us to do that, but we just throw them away. We're not going to recycle aluminum for our own deaths.
Well, next up, sleeping with the chickens. And they found out, we've talked about how mosquitoes are a problem. There's even more diseases that they have than when we were young that they're spreading nowadays. But they find out that if you have a chicken in the room or chicken feathers in the room, it lowers the number of mosquitoes that they count in a room. So if you want some natural mosquito repellent, just use chickens.
Well, I can tell you that we have a 10-foot by 10-foot, it was like a chain-linked area to put puppies in so they wouldn't get lost when they were very young. And we used that. We put a roof on it, and it has it's all chain link, and it's right outside the maybe 25 feet outside the back door. And the chickens go in there at night, so they put themselves to bed, and we just close the chain link gate, if you will, so that they can't be attacked while they're sleeping. But what we found is, and they're doing a great job on the ticks and the fleas, but the chicken poop brings the flies, so it's a double-edged sword. We have more flies and fewer ticks and fleas, and other bugs. They're on patrol all the time, and they do a great job. So I'm with you, and I suggest that you consider getting some chickens. And one of the benefits is eggs. So we have those free-range eggs. I don't know what they cost in the store now. I've seen them as high as about $4 a dozen. maybe even more in other parts of the country. But we have free range chicken eggs, and they come in these brown colored shells, and they're great. They really are fabulous. So we have enough eggs for us and the dogs, and the food is the bugs. Chickens eat the bugs and some of the grasses. So great way to go. You're absolutely right, John.
And we'll close out this segment with 40 skills. And this is an article, 40 shockingly simple skills that today's millennials have no idea what to do. And number one on it is plant a seed in dirt and grow an edible plant. And how many times we talked about it's all about the food. But this includes other things like sharpen a pencil, identify the name of any tree or bird in the real world, check the oil level in any engine, name a single star in the night sky, change a blown fuse. It's amazing. Start a campfire even with a lighter, sharpen a knife, chop wood for a wood stove, strip a copper wire, dry clothes on a clothesline, catch a fish, clean a pistol. It's a pretty interesting list. I wish we had the time to go through all 40, but there's, like I say, so much more to get to today. If there's any there you want to rattle off, be my guest.
Yeah. Just a really simple one, John. Calculate number 25. Calculate a 15% waiter tip in their heads. They can't. That's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Young people have trouble doing a lot of things, and we've been talking about this for years. Another one that really shocked me on this list, number 33, fold a paper airplane. I mean, that's something that we used to do in, I don't know, second grade, right? Third grade. You know, by the time we're in fourth grade, airplanes were flying all over the classroom, weren't they?
Guess it's kind of hard to fold a tablet to an airplane.
And we used to experiment with designs, you know, weight the front, weight the middle, experiment with wider wings, stronger wings, different kinds of paper. You know, we were flying airplanes all over the classroom in elementary school. And young people today, I'll bet you they really would have a tough time making a paper airplane out of 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. We'll be right back. Captain John Reagan's with it. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Attention backpackers, on a budget, why spend $80 to $300 to pump clean survival water? Introducing the Viva Water Pump Kit from Viva Outdoor Products. Super easy to use and super lightweight at only 6.5 ounces, the Viva Water Pump Kit provides high flow rate at 1 ounce per stroke, can be one-hand pumped, and is dependable and affordable at only $24.99, filter not included. Get your Viva Water Pump Kit at viba-odp.com from Viva Outdoor Products.
John, if we could just go back for just a few seconds to those 40 shockingly simple skills that today's millennials have no idea how to do. Number 17 is sharpen a knife. And so I reached, I've got, my uniform is pretty much blue jeans and combat boots and a tactical belt. And I carry with me a knife at all times. And the one that I've chosen as the best knife to carry is a inexpensive knife made by Gerber, and it's called a paraframe. And they have one that's a small one. They call it a mini, and then they've got a standard size with a little bit over a 3-inch blade. And it locks and has like a skeleton handle. And it's really nice. It's got a serrated edge, and you can sharpen it, and it keeps an edge for a long time. And I carry it all the time because as a farmer, I use it. John Regan, do you remember the story about how Dr. Howard Shayne and his wife were here at the farm many years ago, and we were going back to Springfield over to his place, and Mrs. Finelli and I were in our car, and he and his wife were in their vehicle, and we were stopped at a traffic light like two young people ready to race side by side, but it was really foggy, and we weren't racing, but it kind of had that kind of appearance. Because we're just side by side. That was the only reason. And we heard this loud boom. And we looked over and we couldn't figure out what happened. Well, a guy had crashed into the traffic light concrete piling in the middle of the road. Crashed into it. And he jumped out of his vehicle and I jumped out of ours. And we saw that the car was on fire. And that the door was crushed and the windows were all intact. So I moved my vehicle out of the way, and I got my jack out of the back of the trunk. It's a very heavy jack, and I was going to bash in the windows because we were going to get this guy out. And the guy was unconscious. And Howard Shayne took out his razor sharp knife out of his pocket. I bashed in the car window. And he reached in and cut the seatbelt, and a couple guys helped him, and they got the man out. And then the vehicle continued to burn. And what was happening is the engine was on fire, the dashboard was on fire, plastic was dripping on him, and the guy was unconscious. The point is, you have, as number 17 on your list, sharpen a knife, even using a knife sharpener. And what I want to say is, you may think that having a sharp knife is something that you don't need to do. Absolutely, you do need to do it. And so we were there, and, as a group of us, we saved this guy's life. A nurse was on on the scene. And so we pulled him out of the way while the car continued to burn. And after we got him safe, 45 minutes or 20 minutes later, the ambulance came. Bottom line is that you got to have a knife. So that's all I want to say about that, John.
Okay. Well, a lot of items in the financial section today, as well as the employment. And the first link, I had a little bit of fun pretending that I was working for the administration. How do I spin this news? So I said, GDP growth increases 50%. CNBC actually said, how slow is U.S. economic growth? Close to zero. They released the second quarter GDP rate Friday, a miserable, absolutely bad 1.2%. And the revised first quarter down to 0.8%. So going from 0.8% to 1.2% is a 50% increase. This is about as bad as you can get before going negative. And Obama is the first president that, unless we get into a period of hyperinflation the next couple of quarters, will not have a single year of 3% growth. And again, keep in mind, they changed the way they calculated GDP last summer. And the rule of thumb that I've seen is subtract 3% from the published rate, and that gets you to what it would be before they mucked with the calculation. So instead of being a positive 1.2%, it would be around a negative 1.8% if they were still calculating it the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we're finding some prices are increasing to the highest numbers ever. I mean, I looked up the average price of cutting a lawn in the United States. The average price of cutting a lawn is between $200 and $300. Now, I'm not talking about an acre. I'm talking about the average lawn. The average lawn, between $200 and $300 to have somebody cut your lawn. It's absolutely insanity. We'll be right back.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal Office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-952-2797.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs, and it eliminates the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto! Your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer, only available by calling 1-800-952-2797. That's 1-800-952-2797.
Captain John Reagan's with us. John, there was a person carrying a sign at the DNC, and it was absolutely quite accurate. It says, "When the rich rob, it's called business. When the poor it's called violence." How accurate is that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. and I'd love to get on that. Let's get to some of the other issues here. When I wrote the Financial State of the Union, I left out the pension problems because in the scheme of things, there's small potatoes compared to Social Security and Medicare. And I wasn't trying to do a complete accounting. I was just trying to paint the picture to get you to understand what the position is, what that means. And, pensions just didn't really add to that. However, here we are in real life. Pension funds are popping, and it is an important indicator of the way things are going. And it's not just here in the U.S. Pension problems in Japan. The world's biggest pension fund loses $51 billion in stocks. And the one below it, and the United States, the largest United States pension fund suffers worst annual return since the financial crisis due to heavy stock losses. The stock part of their portfolio lost 3.4%. That's the California Public Employment Retirement System. So there you have it. The largest pension fund in the world, the largest pension fund in the United States. These organizations have some of the best fund managers you can find, and they can't make it happen. Now, what's going to be even scarier as we get through the rest of the the financial links today, we have to understand how companies are lying with their earnings and the tricks that they're doing in order to make them appear to be in better shape than they are. And one of those is that they've been borrowing money at the low interest rates that you and I can't get, and they've been using that money to buy back shares of stock. So what that does is it takes whatever earnings they have, and that's spread among fewer shares of stock. So their earnings per share, which is the benchmark, looks better just by borrowing money and buying stock. Well, that's not all they're doing. They're also taking their GAAP results, generally accepted accounting principle results, and doing these adjustments to them. And it's those adjustments that are being reported on. And in some cases, we're seeing a $500 million loss now being reported as a $500 million gain. So again, we've got earnings that really aren't there. And then another metric which we'll be talking to after the next article, the price earnings ratio. Take the price of the stock, divide by the earnings, and that tells you how cheap a stock is. And of course, the prices have been driven up through artificial means. You divide by the earnings, and it's already in a bad position. And if you consider the earnings are much worse than that, that means the price earnings ratio is understated as well as what it should be if you were using real numbers. So, like I say, fasten your seatbelt. The rest of the financial section here is going to be pretty wild. And before we get there, another bad sign. We've talked about how ESPN has been losing subscribers. Well, it's worse than that. People just can't afford pay circuses anymore. Dish loses 281,000 subscribers. That's just unimaginable. And if you think, they're probably getting a minimum of $40 a month for every one of those subscribers. You multiply that out, that's millions of dollars, and that's a big hit. Vince?
I was thinking about what you were saying about lying about earnings and losses being reported as gains and the PE ratios that are manipulated. When I was in school studying finance and economics at the university, I learned that in order for a company to do well, you had to have sales and you had to have customers. And what you're talking about, John, is the manipulation that will come back. It can't go away. As far as I can tell, it's going to come back to bite these companies down the road, isn't it? I mean, is there any way that they can bury this forever? I don't think so. Without going belly up, won't this come out to haunt them down the road?
Well, the government's been doing things to kick the cans down the road for Social Security and Medicare, and this is the corporate way of doing the same thing. It's kick the can down the road. Things are going to get better later on, and then all those lies don't matter. But
you mean because of the collapse?
But we're running out of road. It's not a cycle anymore. It's a wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, are you in agreement with what I said? At some point, it's going to appear, and it will be a catastrophe. Is that what you're saying? I mean, that's what I see. And
what I'm seeing is analysts calling for a 50% reduction in stock prices, and some are calling for as much as a 70%. And
okay, so
we may even see that this year.
All right. So if we have a 50 to 70% reduction in stock price and people have placed their bets in the stock market, they're going to see 50 to 70% of what they think they have invested evaporate, go away, right?
And that goes back to the pension funds we just talked about. Mm-hmm. A large amount of what they're invested in is stocks, and that's going to make them even more underfunded. Then we have to look at the bond side of their portfolio. Especially the government bonds are now going for negative interest rates, so they can't really invest in those and earn anything. The corporate bonds I would say are questionable, because as we understand what the real position of these companies are, those bonds are probably going to become more risky. And sooner or later, we get to a point where they're going to have market interest rates on bonds. And when those interest rates go up, the value of the existing bonds go down. So that's going to crash the bond market that's held by, individuals and pension funds. So it's kind of like there's no good way out of this, and they can't just keep on, going with negative interest rates, because, really, do you want a guaranteed loss on your money by investing? You have to have a certain amount just in order to come out ahead, just based on inflation and taxes.
And there's a headline that says Chelsea Clinton's husband closes disastrous hedge fund, and after losing 90% of its money. So they've lost 90% of their clients' funds. 90%. This guy's name is Mark Mizvinsky, Chelsea Clinton's husband, Bill Clinton's son-in-law, Hillary Clinton's son-in-law. And another headline says Chelsea Clinton's husband won't apologize to investors after losing 90%, or nearly 25 million of their money in a hedge fund. So even the guys who are connected are having problems. That's the point, John.
Are they having problems, or are they just taking advantage of the situation for themselves?
Well, probably yes. Both, right? Yep.
Well, I've got an article here on the PE indicator, price earnings. Goldman, and there's a lot we can say about them. The last two times the price earnings expanded this much, the result was a historic crash. And they also link to another article in here. Goldman warns of a sharp plunge in stocks in the next few months. So if you're one of those that looks at charts for indicators, this is one of those that has some historical value. And as I explained a couple of minutes ago, the earnings aren't even as good as this chart would suggest they are, which means that the stocks are even more overvalued than they should be, which would again lead to a larger crash as things become uncovered.
You're not waiting for me, are you? Did I lose John Regan?
I'm here.
Okay.
I had to clear my throat, and
okay.
Didn't get the mute off. Well,
okay.
After
I'm looking at silver. Silver is at 2039 right at this moment. So silver is just ticking generally up. It goes down, but the general trend is slowly increasing. Please continue.
And keep in mind, when the stocks and bonds start crashing, the only real place to go of value is silver and gold. And the amount of real silver and gold out there is very small in comparison to these paper markets. And that's going to make the price of the real silver and gold explode. But I wouldn't take any solace in that, because when I say this, historically would lead to war, which in a short period of time would lead to no supply chain for us, and the gold and silver will be as worthless as it is. And
and add to that that Hillary wants to increase income taxes, increase business taxes, increase capital gains tax, and increase tax on stock trading, and she wants to have an exit tax. So that's Hillary. Increase taxes, and anyone who's...
Exercise and deep breathing gets oxygen into the blood, but does not guarantee you get oxygen into your 372 trillion cells. Largely, the essential fatty acids, alpha-linolenic and linoleic acids, control oxygen transfer from the blood to the cells. These essential fatty acids are called essential because they must be obtained from the diet on a regular basis. Many people are aware of the value of supplementing with flax or hemp seed oil. What most people don't know is that due to current methods of pressing, all these oils are significantly damaged and oxidized by the time you consume them. What everyone needs to know is that there are new seed oils on the market that are pressed in a manner that protects the oils from damage and oxidation. Even athletes get cancer, which means that despite their abundant oxygen uptake into the blood, the transfer of oxygen into the cells is not occurring. I invite you to try the Andreas seed oils and see for yourself what a difference you can feel in energy, reduction of appetite, and well-being. Call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants.
And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out.
Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL.
Class Captain John Reagan's with us, U.S. Air Force Reserves, retired. His website, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. If you'd follow along with class, all you have to do is click on the news tab, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. John, please continue.
Let me rapid fire the rest of the financial section, and then you can tell me which you want to cover more before we're done with this hour. First mega foreclosure hits Houston office market, 1.5 million square foot, 6-building office and retail complex on 36 acres. Doesn't get much worse than that. Global trade has been revised down an average 2 to 3% for every month. And you think about how bad the numbers have been the last few years, subtract more from that. We've got General Electric's numbers that I talked about, how they fudge things. Their beat came despite organic orders being down 16%, power being down 27%, equipment orders down 30%, and aviation down 37%. Intel is even worse. They beat expectation thanks to $1.4 billion in add backs. So what their earnings were, they added $1.4 billion to that to beat. IBM managed to beat despite a 17th straight revenue decline. I guess when expectations are lower, it's easier to beat. World's airlines crashing at worst rate since 2008. Transportation is bad all over, including transportation of people. Another bad month for truck shipping, and the freight index continues to be rather flat and down. And when you look at the Cass Freight Index for 2013 through this year, 2016 is below every month of these 4 years. And to round it off, national health spending to exceed $10,000 per person for the first time. Thank you, Obamacare. And this is a reason why people can't spend more money elsewhere in the economy. Vincent?
I was thinking when you mentioned General Electric, and in 2014, around September 2014, there was an announcement that General Electric was going to sell its consumer appliance division to Electrolux AB. And they're saying that, we're not really a consumer products company. That was General Electric in 2014. Really? So the refrigerators that they manufactured, the toasters, the microwave ovens, the dishwashers, the irons, what would you call those if they weren't consumer products? I can't imagine what else you might call them. But they say they're not a consumer products company, so they wanted to sell that business, the appliance business, to Electrolux. And then there was a post on the internet that says that General Electric is going to sell to China's Haier, if I'm saying that correctly. I've seen this brand, Haier. You can see Haier small refrigerators, like dormitory style refrigerators at Walmart. You can see them at Sam's Club, and so that's the product we're talking about. And so General Electric agreed to sell its home appliance business to China's Haier, and General Electric is expanding into other areas like, give me just 1 second while I pull this up. They're going to sell into the gas industry. So I guess that would be gas turbines and oil field equipment and jet engines. So General Electric, that company that we grew up with in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, they got out of the business of making those products that are in your kitchen and in your home. General Electric, they bring good things to life. At least that's what they used to say. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com. 720-432-6433. 720-432-6433.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers rifle threat rated armor up to level 4 and now introducing trauma pads. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water filter for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Captain John Reagan's with us in Studio D, Dallas. John, we were talking about General Electric, and I mentioned that they were going to sell their appliance division to Electrolux AB. Well, they didn't. They scrapped it, and they decided to sell it to a company called Haier, H-A-I-E-R, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and that's a Chinese company. So there you have it. It did not go to Electrolux. It's going to Haier in China. And remember when General Electric manufactured appliances, and we talked about that, refrigerators and freezers and dishwashers and even electric knives, can openers and irons, and they even made light bulbs, incandescent light bulbs, automotive light bulbs, fluorescent light bulbs. Well, Hillary Clinton killed the incandescent light bulbs, and she wanted them done. I guess she was involved in some kind of a deal where compact fluorescents were going to be the new thing, and we could poison the planet with mercury as we throw away all these millions and millions of light bulbs that wear out prematurely that are supposed to last 7 years. These compact fluorescent curlicue light bulbs that just don't last worth a darn. Well, that's another disaster from Hillary Clinton. So my position is anyone who supports Hillary Clinton is my enemy. Anyone who supports Hillary Clinton is my enemy. I don't want them at my house. I don't want them at my farm. Don't call me. I don't want to talk to them because they want to steal from us. John Reagan?
Well, since you mentioned Hillary, I'll take a little side trip here. Of course, we moved last week. If you've been listening, that's not a surprise. And I would hope to have been done by Friday morning. It ended up being after 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And Becky and I, and after a couple of recommendations, we decided to go see Hillary's America as a matinee on Sunday. And was able to get in for $5.90 a ticket that early. And I have to say, as a propaganda movie, it's excellent. It gets into the history of the Democrats, and while I knew pieces of it, it really pulled it all together into one neat package, showing how the Democratic Party have always been liars, they've always been racists, they've always been con artists. And the problem that I have with the movie is it's a team movie, so it's rah-rah for the Republicans and Abe Lincoln, and then doesn't even touch on the spiritual warfare side of things. But it is decent. I enjoyed it much better than Amerigeddon. And the bad thing is, I doubt you'll change any Hillary supporter's mind even if they sat through and watched this. They've drunk the Kool-Aid, and it doesn't matter what she does, they're going to vote for her anyway. And it's like I said, maybe the only thing that would change their mind is if she became a born-again Christian. But short of that, all you can do is influence some of the independent voters. That's the way it's always been these last few decades. You've got your core Democrats, you've got your core Republicans, they're team players, team voters. You know how they're going to vote. So you have to woo the independents, and it's even gotten to where there's only a handful of states that even that matters. And you know what they are, the Ohios, the Pennsylvanias, the Floridas. And it's just those handful of states that determine who our next president is. So that's my review. And if you didn't have a comment, otherwise we're going to slip on down to the employment section.
Well, just one recommendation for our class. There is a YouTube video called Clinton Cash. Clinton Cash. It's homework. It's required viewing class for your family. You won't believe it. It is absolutely sickening. Absolutely sickening. And then there's another one that is is a story of all the Clinton murders. And if you want to know all the reasons, or some of the reasons why Hillary Clinton should not be president, these guys are corrupt beyond the pale. And you can watch it all on Clinton Cash and the Clinton murders on YouTube. Each one of them is about an hour. It's riveting. And then I read the vote tally from the impeachment of William Jefferson Clinton. And it was just down party lines. The Democrats voted not guilty, and most of the Republicans voted guilty. So he got away with it. Bill Clinton got away with it. So there was a charge of perjury, and he got away with it. Absolutely got away with it. That's Bill Clinton. Okay, back to you, John Regan.
Okay, most of these are layoff or closing announcements, so I'm just going to run through those as a list and save the last two items in employment for a little bit deeper discussion. Progresso's losing 370 employees. I entitled it, going from the soup kitchen to the soup line. John Deere, we've talked about them quite a while, how their sales has been down. They're now laying off 11% of their workforce. Of course, when companies have to cut expenses, the easiest place for them to cut is employees. Everything else is fairly fixed. A lot of banking problems, which is not good for keeping things steady through the end of the year. BBVA, which is Spain's second largest bank, are getting ready to cut thousands of jobs. They may eliminate 2,000 positions or more. On this side of the pond, Comerica cuts 790 jobs, which is 9% of the workforce, closing 40 branches. Dutch Bank in Germany to close 188 branches. That's over a quarter of their branches. Bank of America, again, making job cuts, nearly 3,000, over 2,600. Goldman Sachs has its most layoffs since the financial crisis, cutting another 1,700 positions. General Mills is selling or closing 4 plants, which have more than 1,400 jobs. Those plants are in Brazil, China, Ohio, and the Progresso plant that we just discussed in New Jersey. And this is a longer article if you want to peruse it. Honeywell internal email shows airplane boom time over, more layoffs coming. So people that manufacture airplanes and airplane parts, which include Honeywell, are likely to see considerable layoffs in the near future. Vincent?
I was thinking about Progresso soups, and, we do obviously have some here at the farm. And I remember years ago, you could buy all kinds of brands of soup, but if you bought Progresso, and this is years ago, that was considered the top shelf of, canned soups. and their slogan was "Make it Progresso" or "Make it Yourself." Well, according to the article that you've got there, that Vineland, New Jersey soup plant dates back to 1942, and it's expected to permanently close by 2018, according to the owner, General Mills. Now, General Mills didn't always own Progresso soups, but they say, and this is absolutely true, that once you close a plant, you can't reverse it. You just can't say, "Oh, let's turn it back on," because what happens is you have specialized employees, people who know how to do certain jobs, know how to operate certain machines, know the quirks and the idiosyncrasies, and it's probably running as efficiently as it can right this moment. But when you shut it down and then you say, well, let's bring some of those people back, they've got, some of them have moved, some of them have retired permanently, some of them have died, and some of them have other jobs. So you just can't say, no, let's reverse it. And I remember when Volkswagen decided to shut down the production of the Beetle, or the Volkswagen Bug, that air-cooled four-cylinder vehicle that was in production for so long, and it got great mileage and just ran and ran and ran. Just a pretty darn efficient car. I think it was improved over the years. And when they shut it down, people said, wait a minute, we really want it back. And they said, oh man, we can't. Are you kidding? We shut it down. And when they tried to bring it back, they said to bring it back would be, the unit cost would be about $60,000 per Volkswagen Bug to just bring it back after they shut it down. So it's really, really hard to hit the reset switch when you shut down a plant. And the obvious proof of that is what's happened to all these businesses and manufacturing concerns that have moved to China. It's really hard to get them back. And just as a sideline, John, I happened to be traveling in Missouri, and I saw this small sign in a small old building, and the sign said machine shop. I thought, well, I'm going to stop in there. I had no reason to go in other than to say hello. And I walked in and I said, hi. I was just going by and I saw the sign, and I see that you're a machine shop. And the man who was there was probably 85 years old. I said, well, it doesn't seem like there are a lot of machine shops around. And he said, no, they're going by the wayside and they're not coming back. So there you have it.
And just to keep it interesting, Macy's is teaming up with IBM to eliminate employees. They plan on using IBM's Watson to interface with customers to help out the customer service area. And, again, cut out those pesky people. And the Pepper robot in Japan is going to be selling insurance.
Yeah, I can just see it now. So you say to the robot, well, how does this suit look on me? The robot says, it looks great. Yeah, but it's 7 sizes too big. It looks great. Man, I don't like it. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433. 33.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of the lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851.
Can your vitamin supplements positively affect your blood in 5 minutes? Protovite can. Protovite is a genuine breakthrough liquid daily nutrition that delivers quality ingredients into your blood in less than 5 minutes. Scientifically proven and backed by clinical studies, Protovite supports energy, vitality, and optimal health. Watch our 2-minute live blood cell video and see for yourself at vninc.com/prohealth. That's vninc.com/prohealth.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
Class, I just posted on the website usaprepares.com a link to the YouTube video Clinton Cash, and I'm going to post during the next 5 minutes or so the one called The Clinton Chronicles, the Bill Clinton Murders. That will be up next on the website. Homework assignment, both of them. Please watch them with your family. And if Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton get into the White House again, it will be an absolute disaster, in my opinion. John, do you agree or disagree?
It doesn't matter who gets in, is going to be a disaster, but if Clinton's in, it's even worse.
There you go. Okay, please continue.
Well, let's start heading towards spy tech, and while you're doing that, I want to point out one article in this week's preparedness section. It's a video that I've called the link Overpowering, and this is one of the Suspicious Observer's morning updates. And at the 2-minute 40-second mark, it starts off showing where this video has been taken, car driving down the street, and there's a geomagnetic storm going on, relatively minor, and you get to see how the power lines are getting extremely worked over with these power flashes. And if you want to see what it looks like, you can click into that and take a look. And just keep in mind, this is nothing like the Carrington event. Carrington event was much more powerful. This was just a minor event, so you can imagine, turning up the power on that and what it's going to do to all the power lines we have today, as opposed to the telegraph lines that we had back in the 1800s. So, what's in the spy tech this week is interesting and disgusting. Biocomputer created inside living cells can respond to input data and has memory. This is out of MIT. It's, that's about as real as you get on this. They use DNA-based memory. They can basically create machines on E. coli bacteria that can control up to 16 different states. You can probably just imagine some of the things they can use this on. In fact, we probably can't even imagine some of what they're going to do. And if that's not bad enough, DARPA has awarded $7.5 million to a company to create implantable biosensing chips that continuously transmit the data about the user's health and, of course, the identity of the person. And if you click on the next one, we've already talked about the Bluetooth surveillance as you're driving down the highway. Well, just imagine if you have these biochips in you that are transmitting, they can do that too. But what I found really interesting in this highway Bluetooth article, and you have to scroll down about halfway, it talks about in-pavement magnetic detectors can identify individual vehicles. And these detectors installed in the pavement can identify and match vehicles based on each vehicle's unique magnetic signature. So these detectors have close to 100% detection rate. So they don't need to read your license plate. I mean, you can even put on a fake license plate. They don't need you to have a cell phone or Bluetooth device. All you got to do is drive over this detector, and they know who you are.
And that kind of dovetails with what Disney's doing by looking at your feet and having these cameras look at the color of your socks, your shoelaces, your sneakers, whatever you happen to be wearing on your feet, maybe even your pants or legs, your ankles, and the size of your foot. And they've got a computer system that will monitor that or scan that when you go and buy your tickets. You go to the counter and buy your tickets, and they've got a camera under the counter there, and they enter that real time into their system, and they monitor you wherever you go. So, wow. So now we need to have some kind of electromagnetic coil on the bottom of our cars that keeps changing the amount of electromagnetism so we can change our signature. Wow, this is absolutely disgusting. And this is brought to you by, with the help of your Congress critters. Yep. Congressmen and senators and government. We'll be right back.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination of garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite is designed to strengthen the heart and arteries and help the body heal itself. Doctors are not able to explain the improvements they are seeing in their patients' health who are taking Extendivite. People who once needed more pills are now taking less and getting better. Due to the unexplainable improvements in their patients' health, more doctors are calling to order Extendivite for themselves. Help Extendivite make your doctor a believer. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. The LASIK Vision Institute is now offering dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology for a fraction of what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-725-2487. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve at a fraction of what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-725-2487. 1-800-725-2487.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Captain John Regan's with us. John, I didn't mention this, but I've been disconnected 3 times since I mentioned I would post on the website a link to the Clinton murders and Clinton cash. Literally, I've been disconnected 3 times, and so and we have alternative methods for getting back on the air. So with when they disconnect us, I'm back within maybe 30 to 45 seconds. So. In case I just disappear, just keep talking. I'll be right back. And it's interesting. We don't get disconnected during commercials. We don't. And it seems to be there's a tremendous correlation when I talk about things like Hillary Clinton and those kinds of very serious issues about them, and chemicals in the sky and people being killed by them that we're disconnected. But please continue, and I've got a comment when we get to that point about these detectors on the highways.
Well, going on down to RoboMarine, and Russia has these type of robots too, where you have a small vehicle with treads, and a nice heavy machine gun mounted on it. And the question is, how long before these are autonomous? Got news out of Russia on a new artificial intelligence that has emotions. These thinking machines are capable of feeling and understanding human emotions, understanding narratives, and thinking in those narratives, as well as being capable to actually learn on their own. And if that's not wild enough, think about what we've talked about with Generation Snowflake that are incapable of any kind of reason. Everything with them is emotion-based. Now you have computers that can generate emotional dialogue to influence these damaged kids that we have. And rounding out spy tech, they have found ways of storing information at the atomic level. They use chlorine atoms at a minus 198 degrees. So it's not ready for prime time anyway. But if you remember when we talked about quantum computers, it's already existing at a very low temperature. So this might be able to be used with them. And it can hold 10 terabytes of information in 1 square centimeter. Vincent?
Yeah, and as long as you can keep it cool, it'll keep working, right? So if the power goes out and there's no way of keeping these devices cool, they'll stop working, right? I was thinking about a couple things you mentioned. This machine gun wielding robot. So this thing is kind of like a small bulldozer, if you will, very small, and it has a rubber track, and it has a turret. That's actually like a tank, a small tank. And it has a turret on it with a machine gun and a camera. And I assume that at the other end, somebody's sitting with a joystick and a video screen and a crosshair, and they just aim the crosshair at whatever they want to kill. And this thing can have up to 400 rounds of ammunition on its machine gun. Or, alternatively, it can carry a 40-millimeter grenade launcher. And it can travel, according to the article, 7 miles an hour for 8 to 12 hours. Okay. So that'll keep whoever's sitting behind the joystick out of harm's way while it kills, maims, wounds, blows up, whatever the guy at the joystick wants to squeeze the trigger on. So you have that. But we saw an example of that being used in Texas. It wasn't exactly that, didn't have a machine gun, but what it did have was a robotic arm on this track device, this little tank, if you will. And what they did was they put explosives in the robotic arm, and they drove this tank remotely to the alleged sniper and blew him up. So maybe that was like an anti-personnel mine that exploded and blew up the alleged sniper. So it's not like this hasn't been used before. There is a precedent, and we use this kind of technology. So now we have the drones, and we know that the Predator can carry Hellfire missiles, and they can fly for hours, and someone can sit behind a joystick and a screen remotely halfway around the world and wreak havoc on whomever they choose. Pretty frightening, John, and that's, those are the expensive drones, and of course they have these inexpensive drones, and I keep wondering, what will I do if I find a drone flying over the farm? What will I do? Will I think that it's a neighbor having fun and just, wanting to send me a video of our farm so I can see what our farm looks like from, 50 feet up? Or will I feel it's a threat and take it out with whatever means I feel appropriate? I guess we'll have to wait till that time comes, and then I'll report on it. But these things are quite upsetting to me, and I'm sure to you and to our class. And then when you get to this highway Bluetooth detectors, spying on motorists and pedestrians, class, let me explain what this thing looks like. It's got a solar panel to keep the battery charged. It's got a plastic box, and it has the electronics in the plastic box, and they have this GSM Blade antenna. They've got a GSM cellular modem, a Bluetooth radio, a solar charge controller, a 7-day backup battery, and a Bluetooth antenna to monitor your travels. I tell you, John, this is really upsetting to me. The privacy is being eviscerated by the nanosecond, and it's being brought to us by the people who we've entrusted our safety to. That would be our local, county, state, and federal alleged representatives. They have sold us out. And I wanted to tell you that I was traveling in Missouri, and my eyes were burning. The pollution was extensive. The pollution was vast. And it's these political signs suggesting that we vote for the thug of our choice. It's a disgrace, and it's making America ugly with all of these signs for these guys who can't get a job. They can't get a job, so they want to tell us what to do. I can't stand it. And actually, I'm thinking, if I vote, will I be participating in the fraud? I guess I would be. So if I don't vote, I won't be participating in the fraud. And I think one of the clearest messages we can send these people who are running for these positions of power is to let them know we don't support them. Interesting concept. What do you think, John?
Well, let me talk for a second about the difference between those in power and those that aren't. If you go down to the bigger picture, there's a Michigan man that's facing 5 years in prison because he brought 10,000 cans from out of state to take advantage of Michigan's higher deposit rates. In other states around there, you only get 5 cents. In Michigan, you get 10 cents. So to put this in perspective, that 5-cent difference on 10,000 cans comes up to a whopping $500. So for $500, they want to put him in prison for 5 years. Now, if you go out and sell favors to corporations and foreign countries, and you allow state secrets to be obtained from unsecure email platforms, if you do that, you can be president. But don't you
absolutely.
dare
You can even sell.
cans in.
You can even sell missile technology through your friends to China, and that's still okay. Yeah, I've been to Michigan, and I've seen at the supermarkets, they have these, they look like 55-gallon barrels. And there's a hole in the top, and you just drop your can in, and it spins the can around in the air, and it reads the barcode to determine whether that's a 10-center or a can from someplace else. And it's kind of nice, and if you're into recycling, I think it's a wonderful way to go. And I think it'd be wonderful if we could recycle cans without them being ground up and made into chaff that's sprayed to hurt us. It'd be great if we could recycle aluminum. It'd be great if we could recycle glass. It'd be great if we could recycle almost everything. But we're too greedy to be able to really do that. And of course, Walmart has these great big boxes at the entrance to Walmart, and you can take your plastic bag, which probably has the equivalent of a pea-sized piece of plastic in it, and you can stuff a whole bunch of them in this great big box. And when you're all done, if you have a cup of plastic, that'd be a lot as a result of this great big box. So it's a deception. It's a deception that you're really recycling, and actually what you're doing is you're keeping those plastic bags from flying into tree limbs, I guess. That would be the best part of the recycling of the plastic bags. But anyway, please continue.
Well, the next 3 articles are food-related. We've got sheriff down Katy, Texas, west of Houston, raiding raw milk exchanges. So if you think Texas is a wonderful place for freedom, don't believe it. Another article, more than 75% of all honey sold in grocery stores contains no honey at all. And then, closer to the origin of the supply chain, we have coffee crop losses of 36%, 70% of bananas, and Argentina, 30% of raisins with the cold weather that's hitting South America right now. So it's if it's not one thing, it's another. Did you want to comment on that or continue on?
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about this honey, John? The headline reads, more than 75% of all honey sold in grocery stores contains no honey at all. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, they analyzed the honey for pollen content and didn't find any. So they got the break now. I'll talk more about it when we get back.
Okay. Yeah, and I can tell you, I bought several cases of honey years ago, and it's crystallized. And if you look at the commercial honey, it's not crystallized. So obviously there's a difference, and honey can stay good for years. You don't have to...
Today, I became a biophoton woman. I put a tablespoon of the Andreas 5-seed oil in my morning's One World Way drink and was still happy and energized at 3 p.m. Normally, I feel tired and spacey at the end of the day, but today I felt energy and very clear. My friend at the farmer's market asked what I was on. She said my eyes looked bright and I had unusual energy for that time of afternoon. I told her there was a magical oil that enabled my body to absorb the sun's energy as if I were a plant. She said, I want some. A second One World Way shake with the oil when I got home took me to bedtime with that wonderful, abundant energy. I couldn't believe how much I got done and how great I felt. The combination of One World Way and 5-seed oil produced a significant health event in my life, the kind that makes you feel you've been given your life back with a bonus, and I'm 64.
5-seed oil in One World Way. For your fantastic health, call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
We all have heard about the benefits of fish oils, but what about the presence of heavy metals, PCBs, dioxins, furans, and other contaminants found in fatty tissues of fish? GCNteam.com recognizes this risk and offers IFOS certified tested omega-3 fatty acids. EPA, DHA insist on IFOS omega-3 fatty acid certification. Get the best at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN. Attention backpackers on a budget. Why spend $80 to $300 to pump clean survival water? Introducing the Viba Water Pump Kit from Viba Outdoor Products. Super easy to use and super lightweight at only 6.5 ounces, the Viba Water Pump Kit provides high flow rate at 1 ounce per stroke, can be one-hand pumped, and is dependable and affordable at only $24.99, filter not included. Get your Viba Water Pump Kit at viba-odp.com from Viba Outdoor Products.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, a place for mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Would you like to receive $250 to $1,000 cash per day? Go to richmoneyrich.com. No website, no selling, no explaining. Just take these simple 2 steps and go to richmoneyrich.com. You can be generating cash in the next 24 hours simply using this system. Good news is, it runs on 100% autopilot and you don't need any experience to get started. It's easy. Get your share of riches and go to richmoneyrich.com. That's richmoneyrich.com. Go now. Brought to you by the Conservative Investor. Current returns not indicative of future results.
Captain John Regan's with us, and his website, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. We're at the news tab of thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. John, are we going to continue talking about honey for another minute or so, or where are we?
Sure, we can. Let me just point out, in the article that I've linked to in the second paragraph, as a link to an even longer article on food safety news that will get you more information. But basically, what happens is this honey is ultra-filtered, where they heat it, sometimes water it down, and they use high pressure to force it through this filter to remove the pollen. And that is the only way you can identify where the pollen identifies where the honey came from. It's the only way to determine whether the honey came from legitimate and safe sources. Now, China plays a role in this too. It's not the only part of this puzzle, but what China will do is they'll filter this out so you can't identify the source. They'll pack it in these, 55-gallon drums, send it to another country, repackage it, and guess where it comes to? The wonderful greedy people in America who'll buy anything cheap, and that gets repackaged and put on our store shelves.
John, let me just take a quick detour. Back in the 90s, I lived in Virginia, and we shopped at Sam's Club, and they had honey for sale there, and it was Virginia brand honey, and that was the brand that Virginia brand is what Sam's Club was selling, and it was in almost 16 ounces or larger container. Bought a couple of those, brought it home, put it in the tea, and it turned black. The tea turned black, like black coffee black. And so I tried it with different teas, and same thing. So I called Virginia brand, and they said, no, can't be. And I said, no, I'm not kidding. You need to try it. And they called me back, and they said, you're absolutely right. So we forced a recall of Virginia brand honey, and they said they traced it down. And I said, I want to know what's going on. They said, well, they traced it to Chinese honey, and they were collecting the honey in galvanized buckets in China, and the galvanized buckets contaminated the honey, and the railroad cars that they bought of honey all had this problem. So there you have it. You're absolutely right. And so Virginia brand honey, well over 10 years ago, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, still was a concern. So we don't buy Virginia brand honey anymore at Sam's Club. We only buy local honey.
And these ultra-processed honeys can be contaminated with antibiotics and heavy metals and who knows what.
Right. So you may think you're doing the right thing, class, by buying honey instead of sugar. Norm Shealy recommends it, and of course we do too, but not contaminated honey, and certainly not honey from China. And it looks like there's only one company, and I'm not sure which one it is, that's actually concerned about the origin of the honey. Isn't that correct?
I don't have that part in front of me. I was getting ready for
that. All right. We'll do the next one then.
Let me, before we run out of time, get down to the button pushers. I talked about this a little bit last week, but here's the link for the articles, how the government, with just the bureaucrats, are looking to take guns away from veterans and seniors. It's basically they just declare you mentally incompetent, and they're looking at different ways of doing that. And I don't think it's in this article, one I read for people on Social Security. If you set up bill pay for some of your bills, that could be evidence that you're incompetent because you're not, using a calendar to pay your bills with. It is so ridiculous. Of course, it's got nothing to do with competence. It's all about taking your guns away.
John, I was talking to a guy at a gun show, and I said, "What's going on? I don't see any AR-15 stuff. He used to have it all the time." He said, selling AR-15 parts, barrels, buttstocks, triggers, scopes, anything related to an AR-15 is such a hassle because PayPal will shut you down if they think you're selling an AR-15 part. The electronic payment systems are clamping down on it, and it's getting very difficult to sell AR-15. So there you go. There's more. It's more than we think. It's all around us trying to keep us from having guns. Captain John Regan, thanks so much for being with this class. Above all, honesty and integrity. I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.